we are doing ENTP, the debater. Introduction. Quick-witted and audacious, people with ENTP personality type debaters aren't afraid to disagree with the status quo. In fact, they're not afraid to disagree with pretty much anything or anyone. Few things light up these personalities more than a bit of verbal sparring, and if the conversation veers into controversial terrain, so much the better. It would be a mistake, though, to think of ENTPs as disagreeable or mean-spirited. Instead, people with this personality type are knowledgeable and curious with a playful sense of humor, and they can be incredibly entertaining. They simply have an offbeat, contrarian idea of fun, one that usually involves a healthy dose of spirited debate. ENTP personalities are the ultimate devil's advocates, thriving on the process of shredding people's arguments to pieces. Sometimes they even rebel against their own beliefs by arguing the opposing viewpoint, just to see how the world looks from the other side. Breaking the rules. Follow the path of the unsafe, independent thinker. Expose your ideas to the dangers of controversy. Thomas J. Watson. ENTPs are known for their rebellious streak. For this personality type, no belief is too sacred to be questioned, no idea is too fundamental to be scrutinized, and no rule is too important to be broken or at least thoroughly tested. This may make ENTP personalities seem overly cavalier or defiant, but at their core, their innate tendency to test boundaries has more to do with their desire for innovation and change. As they see it, most people are too ready to do as they're told and blindly conform to social norms, pressures, and standards. ENTP personalities enjoy the mental exercise of questioning the prevailing mode of thought, and they take a certain pleasure in uncovering the value of underdogs and outliers. Their active mind can't help but rethink the things that everyone else takes for granted and pushes them in clever new directions. For many people with the ENTP personality type, one of life's greatest challenges is to translate their wide-ranging intellectual energy into real-world achievements and contributions. While ENTPs love to brainstorm and think big, these personalities tend to avoid getting caught doing the grunt work of implementing their ideas, and they sometimes have a hard time sticking to their goals. To some extent, this makes sense. They have far too many thoughts and suggestions to keep track of them all, let alone turn them into reality. But unless ENTPs develop the willingness to identify and actually follow through on their priorities, they may struggle to harness their full potential. The costs of contrarianism. ENTP's capacity for debate is legendary, but that doesn't mean that it's always helpful. When they openly question their boss in a meeting or pick apart everything that their significant other says, these sharp personalities may think they're being champions of rationality and logic, but they may also be doing their chances of success and happiness more harm than good. Not every occasion calls for this personality type's default contrarianism, and most people can only stand to have their beliefs questioned and their feelings brushed aside for so long. As a result, ENTPs may find that their quarrelsome fun burns many bridges, often inadvertently. These personalities are respected for their vision, confidence, knowledge, and keen sense of humor, but unless they cultivate a bit of sensitivity, they may struggle to maintain deeper relationships or even to achieve their professional goals. Many ENTPs find that a more compassionate approach is worth exploring as they strive to build solid relationships. With time, many ENTP personalities realize that their ideal life involves other people, and that spending too much energy on winning arguments ultimately means robbing themselves of the support they need to get where they want to be in life. The good news is that people with this personality type will never lose their sharply nonconformist edge. They can simply use their cognitive flexibility to understand and explore others' perspectives, recognizing the value of consideration and compromise alongside logic and progress. Moving on to strengths and weaknesses. Strengths and weaknesses. ENTP weaknesses. Very argumentative. If there's anything ENTPs enjoy, it's the mental exercise of debating an idea. More consensus-oriented personality types rarely appreciate the vigor with which these personalities tear down their beliefs and methods, sometimes leading to a great deal of tension. Insensitive. Being so rational, ENTPs often misjudge others' feelings and push their debates well past the other's tolerance levels. People with this personality type don't really consider emotional points to be valid in such debates either, which magnifies the issue tremendously. Intolerant. Unless people are able to back up their ideas in a round of mental sparring, ENTPs are likely to dismiss not just the ideas, but the people themselves. Either a suggestion can stand up to rational scrutiny, or it's not worth bothering with. Can find it difficult to focus. The same flexibility that allows ENTP personalities to come up with such original plans and ideas makes them readapt perfectly good ones far too often, or to even drop them entirely as the initial excitement wanes and newer thoughts come along. Boredom comes too easily for these active types, and fresh thoughts are the solution, though not always a helpful one. Dislikes practical matters. ENTPs, with their preference for spontaneity and novelty, often struggle with organization, structure, and all things practical. People with this personality type are interested in what could be, malleable concepts like ideas and plans that can be adapted and debated. When it comes to hard details and day-to-day execution, these personalities tend to lose interest, often with the consequence of their plans never seeing the light of day. ENTP strengths. Knowledgeable. People with the ENTP personality type, debaters, rarely pass up a good opportunity to learn something new, especially abstract concepts. This information isn't usually absorbed for any planned purpose, as with dedicated studying. They just find it fascinating. Quick thinkers. ENTP personalities have tremendously flexible minds and are able to shift from idea to idea with little effort, drawing on their accumulated knowledge to prove their points, or their opponents, as they see fit. In fact, ENTPs are the most likely personality type to quickly jump from one topic to another when they are enthralled in a conversation, never missing a beat. Original. Having little attachment to tradition, ENTP personalities are able to discard existing systems and methods and pull together ideas from their extensive knowledge base to formulate bold new ideas. If presented with chronic, systemic problems and given rein to solve them, they respond with unabashed glee. Excellent brainstormers. Nothing is quite as enjoyable to people with the ENTP personality type as analyzing problems from every angle to find the best solutions, combining their knowledge and originality to display out every aspect of their subject at hand, rejecting without remorse options that don't work, and presenting ever more possibilities. ENTPs are irreplaceable in brainstorming sessions. Charismatic. People with the ENTP personality type have a way with words and wit that others find intriguing. Their confidence, quick thought, and ability to connect seemingly separate ideas in novel ways create a style of communication that is charming, even entertaining, and informative at the same time. Energetic. When given a chance to combine these traits to examine an interesting problem, ENTP personalities can be truly impressive in their enthusiasm and energy, having no qualms with putting in long days and nights to find a solution. Moving on to romantic relationships. Romantic relationships. If there's one thing that people with the ENTP personality type, debaters, are good at, it's coming up with a never-ending stream of innovations and ideas to keep things moving forward. And this is evident in their romantic relationships. They can be both a thrilling and challenging partner. They bring their trademark enthusiasm and intellectual curiosity to their romantic lives, often resulting in relationships that are filled with passion and constant growth. This can be an overwhelming process if their partner doesn't match up, but when they find someone who shares their love of intellectual exploration, expect an adventure. Sparks may fly. Dating these personalities is hardly a boring experience. From their earliest dates, ENTPs test their partner's limits, pushing boundaries and traditions, looking for open-mindedness and spontaneity. These personalities love engaging with their partner in thought-provoking discussions and debates, and they make good use of their enthusiasm and creativity by delighting and surprising their partner with new experiences. For ENTPs, love is an opportunity for mutual learning and growth. However, their natural impatience and restlessness may become evident as they constantly seek novelty and express their disdain for monotony. This is not a type to buy into the idea of a happy status quo. Balancing their need for new experiences and adventure with the realities of a steady romantic relationship can be a struggle for many people with this personality type. But if ENTP's unwavering enthusiasm is met in kind, it can lead to a magnificent relationship characterized by strength, depth, and spark. Some partners may tire in the face of ENTP's need for constant engagement. While their vigor can be attractive, it can also wear down even the most patient partner. Opportunities for growth. ENTP's love of intellectual engagement and personal growth can sometimes become wearing, especially for partners who prefer emotional intimacy over intellectual sparring. Equally, their urge to question and challenge everything can sometimes translate into perceived argumentativeness or even insensitivity, as they may inadvertently dismiss their partner's feelings in favor of logic and rational argument. While ENTPs are more open-minded than other analysts, NT types, about others' perspectives, they are also more likely to express their disdain for such things as emotional sensitivity in cutting, well-phrased and clear terms, easily hurting their partner's feelings without realizing it. ENTP personalities may even ignore their partner's feelings altogether, instead immersing themselves entirely in some distant idea or opportunity. However, ENTPs are exceptionally adaptive individuals. Their ability and readiness to change their perspectives may save them from being overly confrontational or insensitive. They just have to realize the value of emotional understanding, sensitivity, and compromise in maintaining a strong relationship. And the good news is that these personalities can actively work on developing these traits while keeping their debate-loving, unconventional spirit alive. Moving on to friendships. Friendships. The last thing that people with the ENTP personality type debaters want to hear is "you're right," not unless they have absolutely earned the distinction in a heated round of intellectual debate. If they're wrong, they want to be told so, and they want every detail of the faults in their logic to be laid bare, partly in their quest for oftentimes arbitrary truth and partially just so they have to work to defend that logic with counterpoint and parade. It's often easy for these personalities to test compatibility with a potential friend. ENTPs are quick-witted, and their primary means of expressing this is in the form of arguments and discussions, where they will easily spend an entire evening debating an idea that they may not even believe in. Consequently, these personalities mainly seek out friends who can keep up with their rapid-fire thought processes and surprise them with original ideas. The epitome of ENTP's friendships is when someone can hold their ground in these arbitrary debates with valid, rational arguments. These debates are rarely taken personally, no matter how heated they become or how striking the disagreement. Much as an athlete competes for the physical exertion and the spirit of competition itself, ENTPs debate for the sake of intellectual stimulation and for the debate itself. An overwhelming victory or a crushing defeat, it's never about dominance. only inspiration to try harder next time. Never a dull moment. They know how to relax and have fun, too. It's just that fun to these irreverent personalities, a bottle of wine and a discussion about the causes of and solutions to some global crises, could be described as an evening from hell by many other types. But ENTPs are a genial and enthusiastic personality type for the most part, and pretty much any situation that allows for conversation and a little wordplay is an enjoyable outing. ENTPs are actually remarkably good at communicating with friends and acquaintances of other personality types. Their natural tendency to argue as effectively as possible means that these personalities are accustomed to communicating in other people's languages and frame of reference, and this translates well into normal conversation. Where ENTPs do have difficulty relating to others is an emotional expression, the Achilles heel of all analyst NT types. ENTPs are the most likely personality type to say they have friends who hold values and opinions different from their own. They are generally very open to new perspectives, enjoy having their ideas challenged, and appreciate friends who are not afraid to disagree with them. Emotions dismissed. Being inclined to suppress their emotions when ENTP personalities are faced with a friend who, figuratively or literally, needs a shoulder to cry on, they sometimes have no clue how to handle the situation. They are perfectly willing and happy to offer a series of rational, reasonable solutions to the problem at hand, as they do for any situation where a problem needs to be fixed, but they are generally not known for their sensitivity or outward affection, no matter how intuitively they may understand another's position. Worse is when an ENTP friend tries to turn these emotional situations into something they find more comfortable, a debate. Given how remarkably good they are at arguing both sides of a point, they are remarkably bad at putting themselves in someone else's shoes from an emotional standpoint. People with the ENTP personality type should avoid the temptation to turn a discussion about the causes of a friend's recent breakup into a competitive intellectual fodder. So long as everyone understands not to take their words too personally, anyone who isn't afraid to discuss new and compelling ideas is likely to find stimulating and thought-provoking friendship with ENTPs. It's not a compatibility that clicks with everyone, but these personalities don't really care about being liked by everyone anyway. As long as they get to alternate between being the sounding board and the megaphone, ENTPs and their friends are bound to enjoy one another's company for a long, long time. Moving on to parenthood. Parenthood. One might think that the blustery and flighty nature of people with the ENTP personality type, debaters, would make parenting a particular challenge for them, and in many ways they'd be right. However, one thing that these personalities love more than just about anything is a good challenge or problem to fix, even if it means that they have to address their own weaknesses in the process. ENTPs take their roles as parents seriously, and they are bound to be affected profoundly by this development in their lives. For their kids, they set out to provide a world full of possibilities in the hope that their children will develop a love for learning, an open-minded perspective, and the confidence to express themselves without worrying too much about what other people have to say about it. Raising free thinkers. From the beginning, ENTP's distaste for rules and regulations is evident, and they are likely to give their young children the freedom necessary to explore on their own. Independence is one of this personality type's greatest needs, and they feel that no person is complete without an independent mind. ENTP parents create relaxed, unorthodox environments for their children, founded on enthusiasm and the joy of discovery through the development of reason, not heavily structured settings designed merely to be safe. As their children grow and develop, people with the ENTP personality type encourage them to voice objections, opinions, and alternatives, They teach their children to approach these options from a point of impartiality and logic, to state what is more effective rather than what would make them feel good. As in their other relationships, this quality of emotional inaccessibility is where ENTP parents struggle. As their children grow into adolescence and learn to find a balance in healthy emotional expression, ENTP parents may find themselves exasperated. While always up for a good debate on just about any subject, they may need to work on how they handle their kids' emotional outbursts and arguments. ENTP personalities are perfectly capable, but even they have their limits and rules when it comes to emotional conflict. Finding a better way. Luckily, ENTP parents recognize what's at stake. They want their children to grow into smart, independent, honest adults. To convey those values, these personalities know that they need, like with any other debate, to communicate in terms that are accessible to all sides. If that means learning how to use varied tools of emotional expression in order to become more emotionally adept, so be it. Moving on to career paths. Career paths. In the world of careers, people with the ENTP personality type debaters have the benefit of being naturally engaged and interested in being productive and helpful. These energetic personalities are focused on developing solutions to interesting and diverse technical and intellectual problems. This means that ENTPs tend to value careers that allow them the freedom to explore, experiment, and engage with various ideas and perspectives. If there's anything that ENTPs love, it's flexing their mental muscles and any environment that lets them devise new approaches using novel ideas. ENTPs are a versatile personality type, and while it may take time for them to get to the point where they can fully utilize their skill set, they are likely to find those qualities translate well into pretty much any career that really challenges them while also constantly piquing their interest. Not every career allows ENTP personalities to utilize both their impressive level of unbridled brain power and their creativity, but they have been known to shine in such diverse careers as entrepreneurship, engineering, acting, and photography. So long as they are honest with themselves about their strengths and weaknesses, they can succeed in most any career that is in need of a new line of thinking. The gift of curiosity. All this intellectual power can be intimidating, but people with the ENTP personality type have the added benefit of being excellent communicators, especially in face-to-face conversation. Although they dislike the constraints of managing others and of being managed, this social adaptability allows them to be natural leaders, showing the way forward and inspiring others with sound logic and intellectual prowess. While others may object to these plans with emotional consideration or general resistance to change, things that ENTPs place little value in, these competing comments are usually outmaneuvered by these personalities' deft arguments and subtle shifting goals. People with the ENTP personality type will flourish in just about any career that rewards intellectual competency and curiosity and allows them to utilize their never-ending flow of ideas productively by affording a degree of spontaneity in how they engage with their work. Consequently, ENTPs make brilliant lawyers, psychologists, system analysts, and scientists. It's also possible for these clever personalities to thrive as sales representatives, as they rationalize purchase decisions that may otherwise seem discretionary, so long as their managers know to give them the space they need to work their magic. An independent spirit. Really, it all comes down to a sense of personal freedom for ENTP personalities to know that they are allowed to apply themselves fully to understanding and solving the problem that interests them. Routine structure and formal roles all feel like unnecessary hindrances to these active problem solvers. ENTPs may find that their best careers allow them to engage in their intellectual pursuits on their own terms, as freelance consultants or software engineers. The key for people with ENTP personality type is to have the patience to get to a position that allows for these freedoms, to be in an environment long enough that not just their colleagues but their managers and, in time, their subordinates recognize what it is that they bring to the table. These powerful types have exceptional qualities. It's quantifying their achievements and skills that presents the biggest challenge. But once they've got their foot in the door, once they've got a willing ear higher in the hierarchy, the sky's the limit. Moving on to workplace habits. Workplace habits. People with the ENTP personality type, debaters, have straightforward expectations in the workplace, but ones that aren't always easily met. Strong believers in meritocracy, ENTP personalities expect their ideas to be heard by those above them, seek out robust debate among their peers, and demand that those they manage offer up new solutions and ideas regardless of their positions. While this isn't always how things play out in reality, they know what to look for and can avoid those strictly hierarchical institutions that they would otherwise struggle with. ENTP subordinates. A meritocratic preference is clearest with ENTP subordinates, as they are comfortable challenging their managers' ideas and have a strong and well-expressed dislike for restrictive rules and guidelines. ENTP personalities back this unorthodox behavior with their keen mind and curiosity, and are as capable of adopting new methods as they are of suggesting that others do so. If something can be done better, it's as simple as that. They will gladly take criticism, so long as it's logical and performance-oriented. The biggest challenges for ENTP subordinates is that it is often the fate of the lower positions to implement the details, do the dirty work, and follow through on plans set out by their managers. This couldn't be further from what people with this personality type prefer to spend their time on. They can't stand simple routine work, and monotonous tasks are the stuff of nightmares. Things can go over much better if managers are able to properly utilize ENTP's preferences for tackling complex challenges and diverse projects. ENTP colleagues. It is as colleagues that ENTP personalities prove most polarizing, as their passions for brainstorming, debate, and over-analysis drive more practical, task-oriented colleagues up the wall, but serve as stimulating inspiration for those who appreciate the innovation brought to the table. Nothing bothers people with this personality type more than getting out of a meeting where everyone agreed with the first plan presented, only to hear everyone complain about how stupid the plan was 10 minutes later. But they didn't want to make waves. ENTPs strive for honest, direct, and objective assessments of these ideas, so much so that they often earn reputations for their insensitivity and condescension. ENTPs bring a sense of energy and intellectual vibrancy to their workplace relationships, and are typically among the most active participants in team meetings and brainstorming sessions, delighting in the exchange of ideas and banter. Luckily, ENTP's personalities know how to relax too, and their witty wordplay, healthy sense of humor, and outgoing nature usually help them win new friends quickly and easily. Always willing to draw on their repository of knowledge, conversations with these inventive types are informative and entertaining, which makes it easy for them to be the go-to person for tough problems that stump more predictable approaches. ENTP managers. While not always their goal, management is often where these personalities are most at home, allowing them the freedom to fiddle with different approaches and come up with innovative ways to tackle new challenges without having to handle the tedious step-by-step implementation of these plans. ENTP managers are open-minded and flexible, not just granting, but also expecting the same freedom of thought that they themselves enjoy. This can lead to disorder and conflicting ideas and approaches being put forward, but ENTP personalities are also great at acutely and objectively assessing which plan is likely to be most effective. This doesn't always help them make friends, but being liked is rarely their primary goal in this role. Instead, ENTPs would rather be respected and seen as intelligent and capable. And whether they are liked or not, people with this personality type hold firm ground in rational debates, making them fearsome advocates for their teams. The challenge for these personalities is focus, as they may find themselves jumping from project to project in a quest for novelty and excitement before their teams are able to wrap up the details of their existing goals and obligations. Moving on to conclusion. Conclusion. Armed with a powerful intellect and vivid imagination, people with ENTP personality types, debaters, can overcome or outmaneuver obstacles that seem unbeatable to most. At the same time, there are many quirks, such as an often unconstrained rationalism, lead to many misunderstandings. Those misunderstandings end here. What you have read so far is just an introduction. We have a great deal more to tell you about the ENTP personality type. At some point in reading through your results, you probably hit a tipping point. You went from the trademark ENTP skepticism to wait, what? You may even be a little uncomfortable because you are really not used to being understood, even by the people you're closest to. Chances are you've accepted that as part of who you are, and maybe even grown proud of it, but embracing that disconnection isn't a requirement for ENTP personalities. It's a misused defense mechanism, leading you down a lonely, inefficient path. Gaining insight into yourself and others is so much more rewarding. This is no date of birth gimmick, and no, we did not spy on you. Rather, we've spent years studying ENTP's life stories, experiences, and patterns in hundreds of our surveys. Step by step, insight by insight, we discovered how those who share your qualities and outlook have overcome the challenges they've faced. You're a unique individual, but you are not alone in this. It's wise to learn from others' experiences, and we'd really like to share those insights with you. As you move forward into the specialized guides and tests we offer, we go much deeper into the ENTP mind. We answer not just what, but why, how, and what if. Why do you act the way you do? How do you find motivation and inspiration? What if you move beyond fear to pursue what you secretly want to achieve in life? We can show you how to use your strengths to unlock your exceptional potential and avoid common pitfalls, while also staying true to who you are. After all, that's the point. To see how you can grow to be the person you know you're capable of being, in ways that finally feel right, read on ENTP. Alright, so that was ENTP the Debater.